I hope my phone doesn't ring. I don't know what the hell it is. What's up, everybody? Welcome to, I guess, the Spectator Mode Podcast after PAX East 2020, where myself and Rob attended to. Unfortunately, Carl couldn't make it because he's in Australia, but maybe next time.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about PAX East for a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about games that need to make a comeback, all right? But before we do that, we don't have any sponsors yet, but we do have this really nice intro. So let me go ahead and roll that intro. All right, guys, welcome back. You know who I am. I'm Keith. I'm pretty sure you know who Rob is, and also Carl. We are part of the Spectator Mode Podcast, which is presented to you by the Outerhaven.
If you want to sponsor, please email.
Hey, you know what? Hey, that is a great segue. Hey, we are a smaller outlet, but we were fantastic. We had a great time at PAX East 2020. A lot of people knew who we were. A lot of big people knew who we were, and we would love for that to continue. Hey, if you want us to check out a new gaming product, new tech product. We don't care. Send it to us. Talk to us. Email us. Hit us up on Twitter, and let's work something out. That said, PAX East 2020 is the big focus or half of the show. As I said, myself and Rob were out in Boston this week. Hopefully, neither one of us have the coronavirus. I don't know yet.
I feel good for now. That's all I can say. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, because that'd be interesting. I feel good other than my knee and carrying all this equipment around and running from appointment to appointment like a madman. And
I wish I didn't bring as much stuff as I did. I feel like I did not use half the stuff that was in my bag the whole time.
I did. I brought my surf. That happens all the time.
That is the way it goes with PAX. You overpack everything because you're thinking, I need 10,000 things.
Yep.
I literally, of course, the missus has packed all my stuff away, hasn't she? Usually, I just roll up with like a bag that's probably not even like the size of this little bucket here. That's got my camera. It's got my camera, my microphone, and my business cards. That's all I take with me. Anything else, the missus takes it in her backpack.
Nope,
which is usually the water and the sandwiches.
Let's see. I had business cards. I had two things of business cards, my camera, my tripod, which I didn't use once. My Surface Pro 6, which I didn't use the first 2 days, so I was like, I'm not bringing it the next day. I had a XLR mic connection for my smartphone, which I didn't use. I had the Tascam DR40, which I picked up on eBay like 3 weeks ago for $60, brand new. Fucking guy, thank you for selling that to me. That's a almost $200 piece of equipment, and that was what I used the most at PAX East. I used it for every interview. For stopping to talk to people. I picked up everything amazing with the two mics. That's all I really used. Everything else was just dead weight weighing me down. So it was, it was
like I pack a lot more that stays at the hotel, like the laptops and everything else. But on the show floor, man, it's camera, microphone, business cards. That's all I carry.
And I had a litlittle makeshift rig I put my smartphone into, and I had a boom mic on, was walking around. It worked out great. Yeah, everybody's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I wish because like the main reason I brought my laptop, I brought my camera, I brought the business cards. I also just like stuffed all of the business cards that I got from folks into there as well, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And like, because part of me was like, oh, I'm going to bring my camera because I'm assuming most people are not going to allow direct capture. I didn't even bring my capture card. So I figured,
you don't bother these days.
Oh, I brought that with me as well because some people did say direct capture, and then they were like, "Oh no, we can't do that."
Yeah, so I figured I'd bring my camera, right? Because like I'd seen some other people at Square events and stuff like bring a tripod and a camera, and they would record themselves playing the game. So I was like, okay, why don't I do that? And most people were just like, no, we can't do that. So I just stopped using it.
Yeah. So let's talk about PAX East. First and foremost, I know a lot of people were concerned about PAX East because PlayStation pulled out. Square Enix ramped down their offering, their presentation. Capcom decided not to come. And honestly, other than that happening, the show was just like it was any other year. There were tons of people there. Saturday was still packed. Friday was just about as packed. Tons of developers there. Tons of PR people there. Tons of people on the floor. And actually, I would say it was a lot better because with PlayStation going, and I'm not saying they should be going every year. I missed them. But because they were going, that main section had a lot more space for people to go through. it was easier to navigate. Other than a couple of big booths where they were just out there playing games like the Brouhaha or Brawlhaha and Discord, they were just packed. Other than that, the Repop or the people at PAX were doing very good about cleaning everything. Every time I turned around, an attendee was cleaning the rails or spraying the doors. The people in the booths were wiping down controllers after almost every gameplay, wiping down the VR headsets, wiping down the headphones. They were doing a good job to try and contain whatever sickness was there. I would love to find out later on how many people actually got confunk or whatever you want to call it. How many people actually got sick out of PAX East. So a big congratulations or a big props, kudos to them for keeping that up. Because other than that, PAX East went off without a hitch. It didn't skip a beat.
They really did a fantastic job. I mean, just in general, I don't really have a frame of reference because I've never been to PAX before. So just in general, I mean, every time I saw a gameplay preview, people would come through after they were done and they would clean everything. Like they all did a very good job there. And not only that, but like, yeah, the show floor was packed, but only in some very concentrated areas. Most of the time I was able to walk through just fine. I didn't really have much issue, which was really good.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. So I don't have anything negative to say about the event other than the fact that my knee is killing me. It was a great event. A lot of developers that I talked to were really cool. And I love the fact, again, I'll say every year, when they see you come down and you stop and you take a couple minutes out and you talk to them about their game. Even if you're not interested, even if you don't know what the game is and you just come down there and they stop you and you take a couple seconds to play the game or to talk to them about the game, it makes their day. Because I've seen so many people just light up. They're like, hey, you going to check this game? And I go, sure. All right, let's go. And they love it.
It's amazing, and also especially when people bring multiple versions of the same game. There's one that pops up every year at PAX Australia down here called Damsel. I believe I did something for the site.
That sounds familiar.
I interviewed the creator of the game back when they first announced it about 2-3 years ago, and every time that I go there and I go past the booth, they remember me. And every year it's like, have you seen the latest update to the game? Have you been playing the game? Have you and the excitement that they get when I'm like, yes, I'm still looking at it, I'm still playing, I'm still keeping up to date on everything. And the look on their faces is just, they're just so happy because a lot of these people, especially on the indie side, they are pouring months, years into building this game. And they take it to somewhere like PAX where there's so many other games and they realize that there's a lot of competition out there in the indie space that if you walk up to them and you're the one that that you want to focus your attention on them, it blows their mind and they go home so happy just to have so many people coming up and playing their games.
Exactly. There's been so many people that I stopped by, so many games I didn't even know about when I went to the Indie Mega booth. Honestly, again, I knew it was going to happen. I went to Indie Mega booth, and I think I spent the majority of all 3 days in that event, in that booth. No lie. It was like, hey, check out this game, okay. Hey, check out this game, okay. Hey, check out this game, okay. And then I ran into a couple games that I didn't even know about. I'm going to talk about a couple of those because they were really exciting. And Rob played one of them too.
I played a bunch of them, and it was really great though because a lot of the times, like even like bigger games that got a lot of attention, one of which we'll be talking about later on. I certainly want to talk about. It just even then, like a bigger game like that, the people were still like excited to talk to me. Like even though they're talking to people from like this dude from IGN walks over, like clearly with all the clout behind that, and he's still like is super interested in talking to me about the game, and like he's not like ignoring me or anything like that too. So it felt really good, and like it was good to see that people were.
Can I tell you something, Rob? This is something that I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but they told me this a couple years back, and they told me that again this week. They love when small outlets come and talk to them about their stuff because they can tell when you're actually there and you're passionate about the gaming just as they are, and you're not doing it because it's your job. I'm not saying that people at major corporations, major outlets don't do the same thing, but gaming journalism is in a bad state right now. We'll put it that way. And they follow this. These developers know what's going on, especially the indie ones. They know what's going on. And when I talked to a gentleman who was working on the game, which I won't say, he's pretty much said, when the big guys come over to my game, check out my game, and they take a couple seconds and they leave, that really bothers them. Because you don't know what we're doing, how long we've been working on this game, how much passion you put in this game, how many people are working on this game, and you just look at it and go, all right, whatever, and walk away. Now, granted, I wish we had more time to cover everybody in that booth because there were so many great games, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I did get cards. I will be reaching out to each and every one of those people.
Yeah. I mean, same thing with me. There's too many great games there that I just I wanted to play, but so much other stuff going on. I'm just I'm trying to do the whole wander around thing. I also had appointments and stuff too, so it was a great time, and I do feel bad for not playing this stuff, but there's always next time, and there's always a chance to see those games when they're finally out, so
all right, so
it was great.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of the games that we checked out at PAX East. So Streets Race 4, I finally got to play it, and it was amazing. It was everything that I expected it to be and probably more. And I actually had a chance to sit down and talk to the actual lead designer of the game and the co-founder of Guard Crush Games. And he took me in the back room and we played the game. It was supposed to be only supposed to be a half an hour session. And we played the game for a good hour, just sitting there playing. And he's like, "You done?" I'm like, "No, you done it now." And we're playing and we're going back and forth. And I'm literally watching the guy play the game. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, all right, we're doing good. He showed me some things of the game that they didn't show the public or anything just yet. And it was fun. And it was he's talking to me and telling me things about the game. And we're going back and forth talking about old arcade games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and games of that and how Sega became involved and what they think about the game and the fan reception of the game so far. I even tried to get him to try and tell me some things that are about the game that they're keeping locked behind closed doors. So he wasn't ready to tell me, but I kind of tossed some things at him and he smiled when I said that. So I kind of guessed what he was saying, but I'm not going to ruin the surprise. I'm going to wait for the game to come out for everybody else to figure it out. And we did talk about other games such as Golden Axe, because once this is done, I was like, why don't you go talk to Sega, because you guys are doing a phenomenal job with Streets of Rage, and see if they'll let you work on other games. You've got your Streets of Rage that you finished, so you can go to Golden Axe, you can go do your Shinobi. You got so many games from Sega's history from their catalog that you guys can go ahead and redo. So that was amazing. Rob, don't let me keep talking because I'm going to keep talking.
No, you're good. So I guess I'll hop into some of the games that I played. I obviously did a lot of indie stuff, but I guess I can start with basically the one big game that I wanted to play while I was there, which was obviously Final Fantasy VII Remake.
There you go.
So it was basically one of two things. I could either do that or Animal Crossing. And to be fair, I didn't really think that Animal Crossing is a good game to demo anyway. So I didn't end up doing it, and I'd never played an Animal Crossing before, so it wasn't worth it to me personally. But so I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I mean it was from what I understand, the same E3 demo, where it was just some towards the end of the first reactor from the original game. Basically, you just do the standard mods, and then you go down to the bottom of the level, and you get to the I forget what it's called, but the boss fight before the first Mako reactor explosion. So it was awesome. So I had a great time. It feels really good. They're able to meld it a lot. I'm going to try and see if I can go more in depth with an article later on. But basically, they were able to take and meld the gameplay from stuff like 13 and 15. Don't take that the wrong way, because it may at first seem like, oh, okay, there's some stigma behind that. But they take a lot of the good aspects from those two games and they meld it with the turn-based stuff from 7 and from some of the other Final Fantasy games. And they somehow strike this perfect balance in between. There's still a lot of player agency in that it's not just a turn where you can do one thing and then you just expect to get hit by something next. You can go in and attack something and then choose to position yourself somewhere else. You can evade, you can block whenever you want to. So it's not strictly turn-based. They're not forcing you into this kind of niche thing that just isn't very common anymore. There's not much gameplay that's like that, except for, JRPGs specifically. So it's really great in that it takes and gives you the ability to kind of, you can choose these abilities and spells when you want to use them.
Did you change the playstyle
in the original? So I actually didn't, and I didn't feel like I wanted to, and that is an important distinction, because when I was playing through, I enjoyed it a lot to the point where, you know, I didn't feel like I wanted to bring it back to turn-based.
Right.
And I'm not somebody who ever thought that I didn't like turn-based. I've never been in that area before where people don't enjoy the way that kind of a game plays. I enjoyed it a lot, but I chose not to because I wanted to try it out as a new experience, and it felt good. It felt right because it's like you still have that aspect of turn-based. You can still hold back, choose which abilities you want to use, which spells that you want to use in certain scenarios. So you could set up a stagger or things like that, which is another thing too. They bring it, something that's in a lot of other JRPGs is the stagger mechanic, where if you do enough damage in a certain amount of time,
that was good.
It staggers the boss, so then you can do more damage in a very concentrated amount of time, which was really cool too, because then that brings into the effect of, okay, well, I've been saving up my ATB gauge, which is when you can choose a spell, when you can choose an ability, and so you build up your gauge to the point where you stagger an enemy, and then you put all your really powerful spells and abilities, and you use that, and you take down the damage really well, and you feel like you're doing a good job. And so yeah, I didn't want to switch because I felt like they had actually made it to the point where it was really comfortable and it felt right, and it wasn't as if they're taking the old gameplay and just making it like an action RPG. It felt really good. So
I gotta say, because I played that when I first got there, I'm a little surprised they changed up how you could play the game, because when you played it, you had to get a ticket. When I got there, it was pretty much jump in the line and play it. And then I asked to talk to someone in PR, and they let me in and talked about the game. But if you guys have watched any of the shows before or listened to any of or read any of the content that we had on site, you would know that I was not looking forward to Final Fantasy because I played the game a million times already. So it was like, Final Fantasy 7 the game. What to do, right? I played it and I went up to them and I was like, you know what? This shit is awesome. This game is fucking amazing. Yes, yeah. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I walked up to the PR. And I was like, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I will be there day one to play this damn game. Yeah. Oh, wow. And he's smiling and laughing at me. He's like, yeah, this is a really good game. And I tried to get some more information. So when can we expect the next one? He's like, game comes out this date. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Tell me more. What's up, South Memphis? Welcome back. Where I'm a little, if my voice goes out, it's because PAX didn't get made by him dying. But hopefully it's not. Other than Final Fantasy, again, there was so many games there, but Rob played a game that I played, and it's called Ghost Runner. And it's basically a mixture of Assassin's Creed, Mirror's Edge, Titanfall, the wall running. It's a one death, if you get hit once you die, if you hit the enemy once they die, non-stop action, dodging, staying on the go, and it was amazing. I didn't know about the game before. I mean, they sent us an email and I didn't see it. Rob saw it, but every time I walked across the Sky Bridge or whatever you want to call it, I kept seeing their big ass sign saying Ghost Runner. I'm like, hey, that looks cool, looks cyberpunkish. Let me go check it out. I finally made my way down there and I got a chance to play it, which is funny, Rob, because when I was talking to the gentleman to talk to them later, you were in the booth playing. So we were both really? There and we missed each other. He's like, hey, I went back after 2:30 when we talked, and I said, you go ahead and do it. He was like, when you were here, he was in there playing the game. And I was like, oh, damn it. So I played it. The controls were a little hard in the beginning because they're awkward the way they are on the keyboard. And I didn't want to go in and rebind them for anything for anybody. So after I got used to that, I played it. And I said it was very short because I beat it. I watched some people come on before me and I already finished it. And I was like, oh, well, that's it. But it was amazing. The fact that, again, it's nonstop. It's the art style is freaking amazing. The art is amazing. The lighting system was amazing. It was a great game. The grappling was cool as well. I got to that one point when you were grappling and I just kept grappling around and around because it was really cool. I really like it. I kind of felt bad about the game though, because it isn't, but it really is fighting against Cyberpunk 2077 because all these Cyberpunk games now are coming out, and because of this one big game, and I don't want this game to get overshadowed because it's a great game. But the people there were basically saying, I don't think it's going to happen because Cyberpunk is pretty much showing everybody, hey, this genre exists, and other people are looking to see what else is in Cyberpunk. So Ghost Runner is amazing. Rob did an interview, which you'll have up later.
I did, yeah.
We got some. Did they give you a kit as well?
Yep.
Yeah, they gave us a kit, so we're gonna put some of the footage up later on. Look for that later this year. PC. I think he said it's coming to the console as well.
So it's PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And yeah, I'm super excited for it. It looks fantastic. It feels fantastic. I will say that I should have stopped at one point because like the game encourages you to go as fast and be as badass as you can.
That's what
so
I was
like. A lot of the time I was like, oh man, this game does look great, and I really wish I took the time out to take a look at that because like if you look at some of the screens in some of the press stuff that they put out, like it does actually look really good. And like a lot of the times I was just running around because like the mechanics feel so good. It's literally just this weird birth child of Doom Dishonored, and you just put that together. And I
wonder if I could share the trailer of this. Let me see if I can share it. Keep talking. If I can share it, I'm gonna do it. Anyway.
Yeah, but it was just so good. It feels very rewarding. If you're like into the games where it's like they present the mechanics to you, and you need to master it essentially, and then from there, because when I was talking to them, and I'll allude to this a little bit more when I put up some of the interview and the stuff that we talked about, but basically it gives you this core amount of mechanics. There's going to be a few skills and stuff that you can learn later on in the game, but basically there's this core gameplay loop in that you're mastering the wall running, the climbing, the maneuvering. You can use like the grappling hook that Keith mentioned earlier, and you have one weapon. You just have the sword, and you have these two main abilities, at least that were in the demo. There's going to be more apparently available later on in the full game, but you have a dash and you have a slow down dash basically. So like you can dash forward similar to Doom, and essentially you can just like, it's a quick dash forward, doesn't change anything, you just move faster. And then there's a slow down mechanic where it's like you can slow down the time and you can either move left or right and then dash in towards an enemy. So it's super helpful because all the enemies are going to be firearm based, so they're going to be shooting projectiles at you. So you only have a sword, so you have to be in real close to kill them. And the melee is pretty generous most of the time, but you do have to be pretty good and pretty on top of everything to get close to them. So
I think the hit detection was a little off because there's been some times where I dodged a shot and I still got hit.
Yeah. Some of it was a little weird, and sometimes I'd be like super far away and I'd hit them, and then I'd be really close and I would whiff. So just stuff that's probably going to be ironed out later on. But yeah, it was a little wonky, but like for the most part, it felt really good, and like it was so good. And what I find really interesting about the game is that there's no health mechanic, there's no energy mechanic of any kind. Nope. It's just one hit and you die, and one hit and they die. So it's like it kind of like Hotline Miami, if you were to take the core concept of it.
He did mention that.
Yeah. And he did. Yeah. I think when I was talking to him too, he mentioned that too, where it was just like, he likes the idea of having it. Cause if the game were to be set up with like a health mechanic, that it would like cheapen the experience for a player. Cause then you could just kind of retry. The game's all about momentum and speed. So like, getting hit or like failing once, like it restarts you. Like you got to try again. You need to make a perfect run, that kind of thing. And it was incredibly fun, and it looks great. And I'm super excited for this game. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah. So I was looking forward to that. One question I didn't ask them, I'm going to email them, is this game is perfect for VR. It is set up perfect for VR. So I need to follow up with them and ask them, hey, South Memphis asked, should we already worry about E3 because of the virus disease? We're going to talk about that. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just so many games at PAX East that I played. It was amazing. I can't go through all of them. All I'm going to say is just take a look at our content. We're slowly getting it up there. There's a bunch of stuff, interviews and games we played hands-on. So look forward to it later on. We do have another segment which games need to make a comeback, but let's address the question that South Memphis asked, because we talked about that. So over PAX East weekend, a bunch of companies were pulling out of GDC 2020, and it basically got to the point where everybody was pulling out. Everybody and their mom was pulling out. I even talked to a friend who works in PR, one of the big PR companies, and she was like, I just had to cancel a bunch of appointments because all these people aren't coming to GDC, and I'm expecting them to cancel it. And then sure enough, I got on the bus on the way back, and I saw an article say, hey, GDC is now canceled, or no, postponed. They didn't say canceled, they say postponed, which yeah, whatever. Okay, sure. So the question is, should we already worry about E3? That's going to depend how far you are with a vaccine, to be honest. The mass hysteria, the paranoia right now is affecting everything. You know, I said last podcast that maybe Sony just didn't want to take PlayStation anywhere, so this is a blessing for them. But being real, being 100% honest, yeah, this is a big concern. And again, I'm not a doctor, but this is no more deadlier than the flu. The flu has killed more people and continuing to kill more people. But the problem is that this is being overblown. They don't know how exactly it's spreading. We've got reports of people who didn't travel, who haven't had contact with anybody with this virus, and are still catching it. So throw that out there. And with people coming from China and other places overseas, and even it being here now in North America, yeah, I really expect it to affect E3. E3's in June. We just hit March. We've got March, April, May, June. We've got 4 months before E3. That's plenty of time for companies to go, no, we're not going. And that's a real concern. I really do think E3 may be canceled or have a lot. PlayStation isn't already coming. But if Microsoft pulls out, if Nintendo pulls out, if Square Enix pulls out, if any of the big companies pull out, E3 is going to have a problem. And yes, Microsoft isn't really at E3. They're at their own event, but still, they can say, you know what, we're not doing anything. That's a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still going to have like a presence on the show floor too. So it's not like Sony where they're just literally leaving, like they're completely gone. I mean, there are stories of last year where in the place of where PlayStation was going to be, like there's just like this giant like energy drink bar because they had to think of something, you know. Microsoft is at least going to have a presence there, whereas like PlayStation, you know, some of their third-party games will be there, but they're not going to be, you know. And I mean, even with the fact that it's supposedly turning into quote unquote a consumer focused conference, even then, you know, this is still going to be a big deal because even developers aside, like consumers are more likely not going to want to go because not only is it kind of a commitment to go to LA, especially even if you live there, it's still a huge commitment, you know, and it's going to be a struggle because it's like, it poses a health risk, you know, even regardless of whether or not it's worse or better than the flu, you know, because it's still affecting a lot of people. And it's a strain that doesn't have a cure or a proper treatment for it yet. So it's like
you can only wait it out. That's it.
Yeah, they're waited out, or, you know, it's just tough. And I mean, sure, it's not like the end of the world, but it's still going to be like a really big deal for anybody who's trying to attend.
Yeah. So basically, yes, Methodist, we should be concerned. I mean, not just in a gaming perspective or capacity, but in general health, regardless. Because again, we don't have a cure. We don't have legit treatment other than take care of yourself, eat, take medication, relax, and try to wait it out. That's it. I mean, that's all you can do with the flu. There's no cure for the flu. There's no cure for the common cold. You just got to wait it out, and hopefully your immune system is strong enough to fight it off, which we're seeing all these deaths because the people that are getting affected are either young or sickly or the elderly, and they can't fight it off. It's crazy shit right there. It's really crazy.
Yeah. So
stay safe out there, guys. Seriously, please do. All right, our man down below, who's actually down below, has been quiet because he has not been in PAX East. But we're going to talk about something that I know he wants to talk about, and that's games that should make a comeback. You know, we've been in this gaming industry for quite a long time. There have been many games that have come and gone, and we think they need to come back. And unfortunately, Austin's not here because if he was here, he would say Jax and Daxter need to come back. Jack needs to come back. Dax needs to come back.
Agree. I think it should come back too. We don't have to dive into this, but
no. Let's do it. Yeah, it needs to come back.
Okay. I do think it should come back because it's like it was for a long time. It's a very iconic franchise. I mean, everybody would put it up there with Crash Bandicoot. Like everybody remembers Jak and Daxter, you know, fondly for the most part. Even with Jak X Combat Racing, like it was like the Crash Team Racing spinoff.
Did you just literally say that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool game. It was just another racer during the PS2 era. So it's like obviously it's not going to be the big old game, but yes, exactly. Like. I loved the Jak and Daxter games. It was like so cool. It like matured in a way that like not a lot of games have. It went from like this kooky adventure platformer to all of a sudden it was like this. They did Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk. Like they went into this futuristic world with Jack 2, and it was insane. And like he started talking, like you had a talking protagonist who's like swearing and yelling, like, you know, not swearing obviously, but he was like yelling and gritty and like action hero. And it was just like, oh, it was so cool. And like it just has a lot of like really interesting stuff with it, like how the way the world, you know, kind of like evolves through the time jump and everything. And it's really cool. I wanted to come back anyway. Just purely fanboy perspective.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, though. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah. I think it's just done in a very conclusive way for the most part. Even though they did say that there was Jack 4 in development for a while, that they wanted to make there was even like a more realistic Jack that they wanted to do, which some of that key art looked a little weird, but
yeah, there's always something in development.
Yeah.
I mean, like Metro Prime 4.
Yeah, and you know, Half-Life 3 is still in development. Yeah,
Yeah, it's called Half-Life Alex. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Go ahead, Carl.
God, where do I begin? While you guys were talking PAX, I went through my game collection and everything else, going, okay, what would I love to see back? My number one, and I hope even with like the big remake revival of Resident Evil going through, please give that love and attention and a sequel to Dino Crisis.
Oh, get out of here! Dino Crisis, really?
Give me some good old Dino Crisis, like, I'm talking not Dino, not 2, not 3, not the fucking arcade shooter. Give me Dino Crisis 1, survival horror with dinosaurs, man, on modern consoles. Hell yes, scare the living shit out of myself. That would be fucking awesome.
Dinosaurs. No more dinosaurs.
Yes, let's send that to Paramount to be remade as a live action movie.
Oh please, why not? I mean, we've got Monster World being made as a movie. Come on, I mean, everything.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich is a freaking monster hunter. Okay,
Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve. Hell yes.
Yes.
Parasite Eve. Hell yes.
I could drop a bunch of names right here. Shinobi. Castlevania, Virtual Fighter.
Yep, get off Google.
What? No, I'm reading my work.
That was the first result in Google.
No, Ridge Racer.
In that exact order.
You know I'm a big fan of Ridge Racer. Dead Space, big fan of Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space.
I would play Dead Space forever. Daytona USA.
Oh hell yes!
Please bring that back. Please bring it back.
Daytona.
We already got Streets of Rage out of a miracle. We don't need Contra to come back because we already got Blazing Chrome. So goodbye.
Okay, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
The Shido Blade.
That game would be hard to bring back.
It would be because it never used health bars. You had to actually do things properly according to the rules of Bushido. And I reckon modern day, and like when you struck a limb, it got damaged.
And people run away all day.
I reckon today that would probably be a decent, it'd be a slow fighter, but it would be interesting to play it in a modern setting.
I don't know. And it's a weapon fighter for those who never played before. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if that will work in this day and age. I mean, it'd be worth a try, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. How about something that would take advantage of modern devices?
Such as?
Let's bring back Pokemon Snap.
No. Go. No. Oh, God.
Combine Pokemon Go with Pokemon Snap?
It's not a bad idea. Add a little mini game to it. I think that would be pretty cool.
Me no play Pokemon game. Me don't understand this concept.
Yeah, you know play Pokemon game. You know play anything interesting. We know this, Keith.
But I play, Dark Souls. How's that?
That's all you play.
To my defense, I have not played Dark Souls in quite some time. And there's a shit ton of people still trying to emulate that phone, but based on the games that I played at PAX East. And the first thing they say is Dark Souls combat, and I go,
Yeah.
Really? Look, there is only one franchise. If I had to narrow it all down, here it comes. Yes. If I had to narrow it all down to one choice of one franchise that should make it back, in Rise from the Ashes of a horrible franchise that
now did you Rise from the
and-
Ashes real quick?
burned and died.
Alter Beast.
Altered Beast.
Why?
Oh, that terrible remake on the
Yeah.
PS. What was it, PS2 or PS3?
Oh,
Oh my
God.
god!
No.
boy.
Leave that shit buried,
No,
my friend.
alright.
Leave that shit buried.
All I'm going to say is that to rise from the ashes of the dead franchise known as Homefront, Freedom Fighters should make its return. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm pretty sure you said this before.
I have said it before, and I will say it till the day that it comes back in some form, or until I die. That works too. But Freedom Fighters needs to come back because it was such a cool game, and it came from IO, the developers of Hitman. They came out and made this completely new IP out of nowhere, and critically well received. It was got like 7s, 8s, pretty average. And like, but the thing is like, it was a PS2 game that created open world sandboxes, a bunch of them based in New York. You're like a freedom fighter, rebellious guy who is like it's basically Red Dawn the game. If you take like just these sandbox environments and you are a rebellious fighter, you have to fight against the Russians who have taken over the United States. And there's this whole campaign. The multiplayer is okay. I'm not even going to talk about the multiplayer because the campaign is amazing. You start off as like, it's a third-person action game, and
Sounds
over
like
time,
a movie that I've seen before.
yeah, just a one certain movie, only one. There is not a remake that.
Are you sure there wasn't a remake that was super awesome?
Yeah, it was great. No, but I love this game because it was like, at the time, not a lot of games on the PlayStation 2 that had open world sandbox, like you could choose certain side missions that you wanted to do. It's kind of like there are some aspects of it that are very Metal Gear Solid 5-ish in a way, because it's like you take the sandbox and there's always the primary objective of liberate this area. But the thing is that each area has different parts of it that make it harder for you to conquer all at once. So you can come up with like a game plan of the, like, say you get to a sector or you get to an area that has 3 sectors, and you have to come up with a game plan to determine how you're going to want to liberate this area, the 3 sectors. The thing is that each sector has something that makes it harder because there's something they have to do in another sector to then be able to go in and capture that sector. It's really cool. So like, say you have, there's a helicopter pad in one, but you want to liberate another sector first. The thing is if you try to liberate that sector first, there's a helicopter enemy that you have to fight in order to liberate the sector. And it's also very hard because as soon as it spots you, it kills you in like 2 hits. So the thing is you have to decide if you want to liberate the sector first, what you can do is you can actually go back to the sector with the launching pad, blow that up. Then you can go back to the sewers, which is like the hub area, and then go back to the sector you wanted to get to first and liberate that without the helicopter attacking you. It's super cool. And it's something like not a lot of people talk about because it's like a revolutionary idea. That
sounds too involved. To be
it's
honest,
so cool.
that sounds more involved than playing Civilization or Command and Conquer.
Out of those games that you mentioned, South Memphis, I would like to see Terminator vs. RoboCop. That was a good game. I loved that game.
Oh,
love the comic too.
Yeah. Speaking of those crossovers, coming up in I think April is Terminator versus Transformers.
No, but
in comic book form.
How? What? That?
I don't know, but I'm intrigued. I will probably pick it up.
That doesn't make any sense.
Just roll with it, Keith. We're currently in the middle of a team up between Turtles and Power Rangers.
But
that's
believable. I mean, here we go. We've got Skynet that sends back Terminators in time to impress the human race. Meanwhile, we have sentient machines. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Skynet probably created the Transformers. There you go. There's your twist.
Another
but anyway, like other games, I've got just I'll go sort of 3 straight out, and then sort of leave it at that. I want to see another Sleeping Dogs. For those of you who never played Sleeping Dogs, it's basically Grand Theft Auto Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You were playing a cop who goes undercover to investigate the triads and gets sort of really into that life. And it's basically just Grand Theft Auto in Hong Kong. It was an amazingly well done story. The DLC was ranging from interesting, like you had a one of those chop sucky tournament film, like with the bad dubbing and all that type of stuff, as one of the DLC. Another one involved Chinese ghosts, and then there was one where you actually had to play as the cop and go through all the proper rules and everything else. Absolutely brilliant game. I love it. It's cheap as hell if you want to get it on PlayStation. I think it's like $5 these days.
Definitely play that game. Everybody should play that game.
Definitely should play that, and I reckon that definitely deserves a sequel.
I would also say people that love Yakuza games and Judgment should also play it. Please play it.
Yes. If you like the Yakuza games, they're not as over the top as the Yakuza games, but it is still very well done. The other one is also some similar vein. I want to see Bully.
Was not a fan of Bully, but they did say they're working on another Bully. Supposedly.
Yeah, they said that supposedly until Grand Theft Auto 5.
But now that Hauser is gone from Rockstar, maybe that won't happen now.
True.
So,
but the big one, like besides Dino Crisis, the only other one I'm chomping at the bit. Well, Dino Crisis, Parasite Eve, and Legacy of Kain.
Ooh. I haven't thought of that game in a
while.
I want to see that.
Have you been talking to Connor? Because I know he's been asking.
I as people might have noticed, I go through a lot of retro stuff. Legacy of Kain I've got on the PS1, the same as Soul Reaver, and I'm like, these games should have continued. The fact that this was an abandoned series, it sucks. It really does. Great storytelling, great level design, amazing characters. Hell, even the cutscenes, for as dated as they are on the PS1, still hold up really well today. And yeah, I would love to see that series continue.
You know,
we need to bring that. We need to bring that back.
Here's the problem when we do shows like this and we talk about games that need to come back, because there are so many games in the history catalog that we could talk about. Again, we've only touched the surface. You know, Bad Dudes, Prisoners of War, Curio Wars. Remember that? Gradius.
Give me more Chrono Trigger.
You know, well,
not Chrono Cross. Chrono Trigger, motherfucker.
I mean, there's just so many games.
Man.
I mean, games that we know will never get touched ever because either they're too simplistic, they don't fit in with this generation. And honestly, if we want these kind of games, we need to talk to the companies that own the IPs and say, hey, maybe you should talk to these indie teams that work on these games. Like a good example, again, is Streets of Rage. Look what they've done.
And that's something that really sucks, in my opinion, because I'm a big fan of the arcadey sports games. Give me like NBA Street or NBA Jam. Give me NFL Blitz.
Yo.
You can't do those games anymore because all the NFL and NBA rights are held up by fucking EA and 2K.
Let me stop you real quick. Not that exactly, but there's a game that was at PAX East that I've been following for a while, and if you like NBA Jam, go check it out. It's called Dunk Lords.
Oh yeah. I didn't
go check that out.
It looked great. It looked really fun.
Yes. They're not official teams, obviously, but it takes NBA Jam, arch rivals, special moves. I would say maybe a little Smash TV with the with the money on the floor and everything. Outrageous dunks. It is fun. Please go check out Dunk Lords.
Okay.
Please.
Now only if we can find a replacement for NFL Blitz that was that hard hitting arcadey action, not the simulation bullshit.
Good luck with that.
Because EA have that license locked down tight, man.
In that realm too, because I almost played it, but I didn't have time. But at PAX there was a Windjammers 2, and if you ever played the original Windjammers, it looks super cool. And I'm kind of bummed I didn't get to play it, but in that vein, it's like so cool. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's not like a volleyball thing, but it's like you have a frisbee, but it's like frisbee soccer, I guess, and you can like bounce it off the wall and do like power dunks and stuff, kind of like the game. But yeah, I love that too. It was great.
Another one I just look over the Prototype series. Anybody play Prototype?
I've never played it, but I've seen it. I think that game had a very bad string of bad luck.
Pretty much.
It had a good concept.
The problem I found with Prototype, like Prototype is another one. It's one of these open world games where you go and do these type of missions, but you're like, it's almost like you have a Venom symbiote that like does all this random.
It had a great premise. It had a great idea.
Brilliant premise, brilliant storytelling. I think the biggest problem is it came out at the same time, around about the same time as. What was it on?
Infamous.
Yeah.
That's what killed it.
Came out, and they were basically two identical games.
Yep.
That had very similar premises, very similar ideas, and one was just built by Sony, the other one was by a third-party company, and unfortunately, Prototype just got left in the dust. And that sucks.
Yep, and that's the problem when you have two games that are very similar to each other, and one's got a bigger development team and bigger marketing. That game is usually going to win, even if it's. I think Prototype was the better game, at least for the first Infamous. But again, bad luck. Came out around the same time and couldn't compete. Eternal Darkness. They were talking about working on another Eternal Darkness many years ago, and it got scrapped.
Yeah, that's another one of those hard series to bring back, because how do you get that psychological edge on today's society, whereas back then the horror genre wasn't as well explored. Like these days, horror films are a dime a dozen. Horror games, especially on PC, you know, how many friggin' VR horror games are there out there? Like tons. And they're all, you know, games like Outlast is a shit ton of scarier than anything Eternal Darkness could have ever come up with.
It's interesting, but yeah, you know, I don't want to stay on this part too long because again, yes.
Before we wrap it up, I'll give you a bonus question.
Okay.
What franchise do you reckon needs to stay buried?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I'll give you easily 2 words.
Go ahead.
Duke Nukem.
I was just about to say it. I knew it.
Wait, you totally confused me. You said genre.
No, I said franchise.
Franchise. Yeah. Okay, I could have sworn you said genre.
No,
franchise,
no, genre. Franchise.
Yeah. Duke Nukem needs to no. It's no. Yeah, no. No, I mean, there's a bunch of other games series that probably should stay buried forever. But yeah, add that one to the top of the list. Yes, definitely add that one to the top of the list. That's no, don't work on that again.
Outside of that, I honestly, after finally giving it a bit of a go, I say it's time for the Kingdom Hearts series to retire.
That game should have been retired.
It's going to be done for a while. Just give the mobile game a couple more weeks to come out, and the series will take its break.
The mobile game will come out, then there'll be the ports to the Switch, and then there'll be the Switch exclusive. Then there'll be the other mobile game that they'll bring out, only in Japan, which they won't translate for another 4 years. And then maybe in the next 2.5 decades, we might get Kingdom Hearts 4, and then they might actually think about wrapping up the storyline. But no, there'll be a secret trailer that they'll drop in DLC that'll continue the storyline for another 50 years.
We got it.
Look. I'm not gonna relentlessly.
Got it.
All right. I'm not gonna relentlessly defend the game, okay? Because I do think at one point the series does go very off the rails.
Very,
but
I reckon.
All I'm gonna say
across the river into the damn ocean.
Listen, okay, it was a story with 32,000 branching storylines. They just decided they were going to take those 32,000 branching storylines and not fill them up. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Look, the Kingdom Hearts series was great up until it lost its writer at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Then everything kind of went bananas, and I agree 100% that it goes nuts and lasted a little too long. But up until then, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, I thought they had some really good stuff going. It was a surprisingly complex story that could have been resolved in a few plot points, not necessarily 500,000 like it turned out to be. But that's all I have to say. I'm not going to try and defend it anymore after that, though.
That'll be a different podcast. We'll sit you down solo in front of the camera, and you can just explain it.
Yeah,
for the
just
next
let me do the game trailers timeline of the Kingdom Hearts series one more time. Just as an update.
Man, yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Holy shit. Honestly, I can't really think of any that need to really go away. I can't think of any. Maybe because I stay away from the bad franchises for a reason. Um, yeah, I can't think of any. I can't think of it. So you can steal my bad one. I can't think of any.
What? So you would like things like I don't know, the Division to continue?
The Division isn't a bad game. It has good narrative. It's just they did a great job with the first Division. They messed up and then they came back. They brought it back from the brink and they did great. And now they're doing the same thing again. I think they just need to listen to the public, the people who are very passionate about their games, and let them help them. Something that a developer said to me during PAX East, during the Magic Legends interview. We are only the caretakers of these games. Once we release these games, they belong to the gamers. We're just there to keep it on track and to develop it. That will stick with me until the day I die because it makes a lot of sense. If you're working on a game and you want it to be well received, you have to listen to the public. You have to listen to the people who care about the game. I'm not saying listen to everything they say because obviously you got to make a stand and say no, that's dumb.
You got to draw a line.
Yeah, you got to draw a line and stand somewhere.
Because fans quickly go from hey, these things need to change or something needs to be modified to hey, why aren't you putting my headcanon OC in here?
Exactly. So that's what's happening with the Division. I think they're going back on the right track with the new expansion, which I think drops tomorrow for PC and later for consoles. So, excuse me, I think they're on the right track again. So no, the Division gets the pass.
I do have a really good answer to your question, Mace. Just because we just talked about it, drawing that line, Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Just needs to stay dead because I know for sure they're going to try and bring it back at some point. It's probably going to be a while from now. They're going to try, and it just needs to stay dead.
I do not want to see another Metal Gear without Kojima. No.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't even want to see another Metal Gear with Kojima.
Kojima didn't even want to do any after 3. He was done.
He was done.
He didn't want to do anymore.
Konami kept saying, "You gotta do another one. You gotta do another one." And he was like,
"Because after seeing what happens when you take the handcuffs off the guy when you get Death Stranding, no, I don't want to see him back on any project right now."
Side note: I still haven't gone back to that game.
Side note: I still haven't opened up the damn box yet.
There you go. You want proof that people really just sort of went for this game and then just dropped it like a hot potato? That's it. When one guy won't go back to it, the other guy won't even open the damn box.
I got the collector's edition and I got it for the baby, and I was like, "This is gonna be really weird to freak out my wife." And I got it, and she got it. She looked at it, and she was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "It's a baby."
Man, I don't want to say it's because I didn't like the game. I have no compulsion to get back to it right now. You know what I mean? Because it's just like there's so much more going on. And if it's a game that's going to take 80 hours and it's not necessarily going to be, pulse pounding action the whole way, I don't want to. And that's not a knock at the game. I don't have any compulsion to get back to it when I have so much other stuff to do.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what it is with the storytelling. Like I can't make myself go back to I can go back to Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3 every time. 4 and 5. 5 I haven't even finished. 4 I probably played. 4 I probably played. 4 I played a couple. I finished it like once. Yet I'll go and get something like Grand Theft Autos 4 and 5, and I'll replay those on a yearly basis.
You know what? I just thought about something. I'm gonna be Matt for a second, and I'm gonna say, franchise needs to die. You should all know what this game is by now. Street Fighter.
Grand Theft Auto Online.
Matt hates Street Fighter now. He loved it. Now 5 has rubbed him the wrong way. He wants it to stop. So I'm doing it for you, Matt. Street Fighter. Okay. Honestly, guys, I think we were pretty much that was the 2 big topics. But I was reading something earlier, and I wanted to talk about it. I really want to talk about it because I really think it affects us. It involves us. It involves other outlets and gaming and streaming in the gaming industry as a whole. When somebody says no, seriously, when somebody says an influencer, what does that mean to you? And is it a good thing or a bad thing? I'm just curious.
it's hit or miss for me. It depends. There are some content creators out there who are legitimately passionate about something and want to get the word out about things that are really cool. Like, I mean, there are some people out there who are influencers in that they are just like, here's my brand, this is me, and I love this brand because X, Y, and Z. I made that rhyme. I was not planning on that. But it's just like, there's a clear difference in the people who are not passionate about the brand that they are speaking to or that they're representing. You can tell, regardless of how much money they're paid, how talented they may be, there's a clear difference between the folks who are interested in support and are fully behind a product that they are endorsing or influencing or anything like that, compared to those who you can tell are just faking it. And that's for me, there's a clear difference between those two different types of influencers. And so to me, it depends.
Fair enough. Carl?
For me, it's a difference in terms. Like, I see content creators who are those that are passionate about what they want to do, or they want to learn about multimedia. They want to learn how to make videos. They want to learn how to make audio, stuff like that. And they have a real passion that they bring to their projects. Influencers are the corporate term for people that are basically shills.
Oof.
They are the guys that get these things because they built up a brand. They see it as a business. All they see is the videos are, oh my God, how many views did I make today? What brands can I get to send me stuff to promote so I get free shit? That's what an influencer is. An influencer is somebody who is practically ends up being paid by a company to influence others' decisions in their buying habits. That's just the way I see it. And I will always class myself and the Outerhaven more content creators, and just like as we say on the site, for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. We are enthusiasts. We have a passion that we want to be here. We are doing this because we want to learn or grow as reporters, journalists, bloggers, whatever. Those who do the videos, they want to learn how to create videos, get this content out there. They don't care if it makes 1 view or 1,000 views. They want to do it because they want to do it. Influencers are the people who want to do it because they want to be rich.
I mean, I don't see that as a bad thing, but yeah, I agree with you with that one.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be rich and making a brand. But if you have something where you are passionate and it blows up and you make money off it, that's a bonus.
Oh, hell yeah.
Influencers go straightforward mentality going, I need to make this much because I need to make income. They are the guys who want to make it into a business, who just want to turn their videos, productions and everything not into like movies or TV series, but something small enough that they can sit on their ass, do sweet fuck all most of the day, put out a couple of videos a week and make their rent money. And they're the ones that unfortunately the ones who suck up the best, straight up the assholes of all the PR people.
I told you, he has no
PR people love numbers. Big PR people love numbers.
I will say that is 100% true.
It is so hard to find PR people and big companies who love passion.
I am not going to mention the name of the company, but I did talk to a brand at PAX East, and they straight out said, we only work with big. Do I want to say influencers? He said content creators and influencers, because that's where we're going at. And I pretty much looked at him and said, okay, well, thanks for your time. And I walked away. I'm not going to say who it was, but we're at that point where this is happening. There is a rift, a rift that's growing larger every day because these corporations want to put their money in the hands of people that are considered influencers, to have all these people following them. And maybe they don't care about the product. It's something that we talk about a lot here. A great example is they fly out influencers to events. And I'm not saying all influencers are bad. I am totally not saying that. But you guys know there are bad ones out there. So they'll fly them out to an event to talk about a game or something, and they talk about the game like it's the best thing in the world, and then they drop it like a bad habit. It's like, dude, you were just saying this game is the best shit. Oh, yeah, I got bored of it. Like,
Yeah,
What?
that's
That doesn't make any sense.
and that's the thing. And I've said this to many a
Raid
PR.
Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
those ones that sit there and will shill things like Raid Shadow Legends over and over and over in this great little 3-minute commercial that they made for it. But do you ever actually see them in the game? No, because they got all the B-roll and everything off the company and just created the video. They all have the same B-roll.
Yeah. The biggest
You know?
example to me is like I watch like in my free time I'll watch like a car YouTuber because it's a generic interest of mine that I like watching, and they'll do sponsorships of Raid Shadow Legends, and they'll talk about I am always in the game all the time playing this that I have this level 30 yada yada. No, they don't. They clearly don't. It goes back to my point earlier in that you can tell when somebody's being definitively fake in reading from a script.
I was
Even
going
if
to
it's
say a
just like,
poser, but that also works.
well, yeah, it's same difference, right? So it's like they're just, they're pulling exactly from what they were told to say, and they don't care about the product. Like they're just trying to give it to you so that they are paid for it, and they did what they were told, So
Yeah, and the thing is that type of thing gets, while they make the money off it, and I understand that why they're doing it. And it's all well and good. If you want to turn it into a business, turn it into a business. But I think a lot of the time, it has now become where we had things like Kotaku, IGN, and places like those that are legitimate businesses. Now we have things like Ninja, who will go wherever the hell you want if you flash a couple of million in front of his faces, regardless of his viewership base. I'm not bagging Mixer, Keith. Shut the fuck up.
I wasn't saying anything about Mixer. I was just saying Ninja. I was like, I don't want to hear about that guy anymore right now.
It's one of those things where if these guys take the money and run, they weren't in it for the fans. They'll play maybe one game or something, or they get something new, play it for 2 weeks, disappear. There are some people that I see out there who are passionate and will play whatever the hell they want. A lot of the time on Twitch, you find that the most passionate people are the guys at the bottom of the list. They're not the ones that have the 2,000 viewers. They're the guys that are having 2 to 3 or 0. And you go in their stream and they are so happy to see somebody in there. Why? Because all of a sudden it's like, hey, somebody else has a passion for what I'm playing right now, and they want to talk to me about it. It's the same with indie developers. A lot of the times, you go up to indie developers and you talk to them, you look at that excitement on their face. You go to a big booth and talk to a PR person. They look bored. They look bored because they just have people coming up to them going, hey, this is me, can I have free shit?
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the conversation. It's an interesting dynamic in the gaming industry right now.
Yeah,
and just seeing various PR companies and companies itself just looking at different metrics. Because again, I've talked to a bunch of people at PAX that I made my point to talk to PR people to see what they're looking for, what they want. And there's people they're looking for the big numbers, and then there are those who are looking at people who just care about what they're doing. I'm glad to say that there are a lot more of those people out there saying, if you care about your craft, if you know what you're talking about, and if you're constantly putting out good content, we want to work with you.
It's slowly swinging back to the point where they want people who are passionate about gaming to speak about gaming. Take a look at the last probably year or so when it comes to box quotes. You always have your top guys like PewDiePie and that always hitting those box quotes. I was legitimately shocked when you said to me the other day what we got contacted about. I'm not going to say which company contacted you to use quotes out of my review for an Accolade trailer.
Yep, not going to say which one.
We're not going to say which one. We're going to leave it as a surprise for when it comes up. But the day I see my quote on there, my mind's going to be blown.
Wait, your mind's already blown. What are you talking about?
No, it's already blown just being asked, but to actually see it, that's the thing. That's what's going to fuel my passion for the next few months, is to keep going and craft better reviews and get better at my craft, and so that we can start getting more of these type of accolades and get more of these requests. Because I want to get the word of I want to promote the website as well as myself.
And I know guys and gals are probably saying you're only talking about yourself. No, in the space that we're in, there are more smaller outlets and organizations doing this than there are large outlets. But the problem is, one, there's so many of you guys out there. It's kind of hard to work with all of you. We're all doing the same thing mostly. We're overlapping, and maybe sometimes we should work together. Networking is also a cool thing, but at the same time, we got to make it. We've got to make it easier for these companies to see who we are, what we're doing. So when we say, contacting us and working with us, I think we're talking about everybody in general. We're being general for ourselves, but if there's a site out there that's doing amazing stuff, but aren't getting the views or people knowing about their content, that's a shame, and that needs to change. If there's a site or outlet or a person on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch that does amazing stuff, they need to be seen. And if they're doing great stuff, then maybe people should reach out and work with them. There was an article that came out a couple of days before I went to PAX East about the gaming industry gating. I'm not sure if you guys saw the article. And basically what it came out and said that there's a bunch of outlets, a bunch of organizations, a bunch of people in the industry that are trying to keep all the good shit within a specific circle. Yep. And the funny thing about that is that's not the first time that has been said. More and more people are picking up on this. And that needs to stop. I'm not saying that you need to go out and give a $50,000 video card to every person that asks you for one. But I am saying that if there's an outlet or a person doing a good job and they're trying and they're putting effort into what they're doing, don't just dismiss them because, you've only got 100 viewers or 100 followers. Oh, you guys don't have a lot of traffic, because it's that catch-22. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can't get the views because nobody knows who I am. You don't know who I am because I ain't got the views.
And that's the other thing. I think, and this goes out to a lot of media companies out there. Don't foo-foo the websites. I know there's this major focus on Twitter engagement, Instagram engagement, social media engagement, and YouTube. Or Twitch, what's your streaming numbers, what's your YouTube numbers, what's your social media numbers? Would you, looking at us again as an example, our monthly views on the website trump our YouTube, Twitch, and social media by 100-fold. Because social media is a way to get the content out there, but you're going to get more content on the website. That's where we go in depth into our articles. That's where we put our reviews and everything else. Yeah, we might put little bits and pieces up on YouTube, but you're going to get more out of an article than you are out of a 3-minute YouTube video. And that's why we always try to corral everybody to the website, because that's where most of our content is. And I think a lot of PR people have forgotten that websites are a great source of content. They want everything in this little 3-minute bubble on YouTube, but you can't review a graphics card in 3 minutes on YouTube unless you're literally going, hey, this is what it looks like out of the box, and here's some captured gameplay. The tech guys want, what's the maximum FPS? What's it like in comparison?
Oh, hell no! You know what? You make a great point. I only want to throw in there for an example. Gamer Nexus. They do amazing shit, and you couldn't. I mean, you can go to his videos and see the stuff that they do, but at the same time, it's better to go to the websites to see the stuff that they do.
Yeah,
it's so much better because they do great work.
And that's the thing. It's like when I first came to this site, I used to do video reviews alongside my written reviews until I realized my written reviews were getting more views than the video of the company did, even if I embedded the video onto the article. So I changed my focus to straight up just doing reviews on the website. And
that's not to say that we're ignoring YouTube. We're not. We're still thinking about what we're doing, but
I plan on getting back into that in the next couple of weeks.
YouTube. And I know we're going off the rails here. We're doing a Kingdom Heart. We're going to get back. It's just YouTube is so saturated. You have to find your own unique voice, and even then, I think that we overlap a lot with our YouTube stuff and our content on our website. It's hard. I mean, we're never going to build up a YouTube channel where we have, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 people.
Let's just say that YouTube ain't exactly going to be sending any little plaques our way anytime soon.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It'd be awesome if they did, but that's not our goal. But anyway, yeah, I was just curious to see what you guys thought about the whole influencer versus content creation. So I got my answer. So hooray, we got our answer. Damn, PAX East is over, and no GDC, and damn, E3 might be next. Oh wow. I would say go out to your local gaming conventions if you have any, because those might just be your best bets. I'm already looking at the local ones in my area.
See, I don't
one
have
come
any.
up in April, so that's cool.
We're lucky we're actually still having conventions here in Australia, so that's the good thing about living in an isolated fucking remote part of the world.
Isolated? That's an understatement. Jesus, man.
Yeah, well, we're isolated, man. We've only had like not even a few hundred cases of that thing be contained here, and they're all offshore.
The virus that we will not talk about because it's so damn scary. Yeah, I think we're done for this week's episode of Spectator Mode. I don't have a bonus round question unless somebody wants to pull something out of the sky and ask real quick. I didn't think about one.
No, I'm gonna say this nice and quick. I did go down to a collectibles fair the other day, and I picked up this little beauty for $10.
Oh, what did you? You gotta describe it. People can't see it. What you got? What the hell?
It's a Mega Drive.
What the hell?
I was able. The guy said it's untested. He had no idea if it worked at all.
Did you get the cables?
It came with the RF output cable, but it works. Nice. I got it for $10. $10.
Now you're gonna start collecting games, or did you already start?
I've already started.
Too late.
Nice.
It's like don't fall down that rabbit hole. Too late. God.
Oh no! I do it the easy way. I do the methods we will not mention on air.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention real quick? I'm pretty sure everybody knows now. Destiny 2 is getting Trials. Trials is coming back.
Oh yeah. We haven't had a chance to talk about that.
Yes.
And World of Warcraft Shadowlands is now in alpha, supposedly.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Dang.
Rob, did you play Final Fantasy 14 at PAX? Did you get a chance?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh. No. They were giving out free 30-day codes if you played the first raid boss. That was cool.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to try it, but I was too busy looking around at some other stuff. And
they were like, "Did you ever play Final Fantasy before?" I'm like, "No." I've never heard of this game before. What is this game? I've never heard it before.
Final Fantasy. I have never heard of this game at all. Yeah, I thought there was only one. It was meant to be the final one.
Always troubled me as a child, and it's like, wait, why is it Final Fantasy 2 and 3? I thought it was the Final Fantasy. Why is it keep going?
Hey, but just remember, Final Fantasy 3 was never actually Final Fantasy 3. It was 6.
Yeah, then they started doing that. Yeah,
and then they did that crowd. Oh my god!
And then they did the.
I still say the.
Remember that?
Yep, X2, and then they did Final Fantasy 13, 1, 2, and 3, and then you had Final Fantasy 7. What was the thing with Vincent called?
We're not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Don't look it up.
Crisis Core. There was Crisis Core, and there was something else, and then there was another one. Mobile games.
There was another one.
Oh, I remember the name of it. Okay.
What is it?
Are we talking about the Valentine one?
Yeah.
Dirge of Cerberus.
There you go. I was see if you can remember that.
Yeah. I actually liked that game. I mean, I was too young to actually have a frame of reference, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and then there's all the mobile games and everything else based upon it. Oh my god, let's start that all over again, shall we?
Yep, and let's go off on a good note. So once again, everybody, thank you for checking out this episode of Spectator Mode Podcast. This was number 54, where we talked about PAX East and influencers and content creation, and if E3 is going to happen, and games franchises that need to come back. Yeah. As always, you can find our content on. Go ahead, say it.
If you find anything that any franchises, please drop them in the comments below on the YouTube channel, or send them to us.
You know what?
At,
we'll open up
staff at the Outerhaven.
We'll put a poll out. We'll put a poll on our Twitter account and see if somebody engage with that.
And also, if anybody else out there, even though I probably killed it with my influencer talk, wants to put any sponsorship for the site, please let us know. Also, if you want to have a go at me for having a go at influencers, then please drop comments,
Hey,
whatever.
We're not opposed.
Please at me at the Mace thing on Twitter. Come at me, okay?
we are not opposed to having a debate with.
I'm always
people.
happy to have. I'm always happy to discuss with things. I will not argue. I will not be taken down to childish BS because I leave that for here on the site behind the scenes. But with people who like our content, please, if you want to discuss with me, you can find me at the Mace thing. Go on at me all you like. I have no problems with it.
And now that he derailed me, let me get back to it. You can find our stuff on audioboom.com, spotify.com, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes. And if you go on iTunes, please rate us. Please give us a rating. It helps us move up so people can find about the podcast. And you can find this podcast wherever other great gaming podcasts are. And don't forget our YouTube channel. We're also there. Lastly, this year, we're making a big initiative. We want to talk to more developers and more PR folks and more people in the game industry. So if you'd like to stop by our little podcast and talk to us about gaming, games you got coming up, statistics, analytics, anything of that nature, we would love to have you on the show. Reach out to us at the Outerhaven or come to the site and just drop an email to us. All right?
Yep. Share your passion with us because, as we say, it's for enthusiasts by enthusiasts.
What are you saying, Rob?
Might even talk to some of the folks that we talked to at PAX East.
We'll save that for another time. We're trying to see if that works up. Yeah. So once again, everybody, I'm Keith.
I'm Rob.
I'm Cut.
God damn it,
I'm the loudmouth.
They forgot their own damn names. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. South Memphis, it's always a pleasure having you. Take it easy, folks. We are out of here.
Eddie, that's all, folks.
God damn it.